This is part 2 of our continuing coverage of this week's first batch of the levels from the 4YMM 4 Years of Mario Maker Anniversary project. There were 8 levels that were released in this package, and we managed to finish the first 6 complete with the optional cake objective in our previous stream. And since we were unable to finish the other 2, we have a bit of an overflow stream that's going on that will permit us to do exactly that. So we're going to go back and we're going to finish this puzzle level by Zerfink that we started much earlier, and then we are going to wrap things up with one last level that we have not yet played. After that, if time permits, we'll see if we have anything else that we can bring into this stream, like opening up to view a cube. But for now, let's continue with 4YMM with this level that is built around the use of the custom scroll. So we've had most of the puzzle solutions figured out in this one already, and we had in fact got past the secret cake room, as well as the second checkpoint. So at this point, it's just a matter of doing everything over again. I don't think I'm particularly a threat to be getting the world record. But the first thing we're going to do is position the mole that is on the top of the level. I think this is roughly the position that we need. And we eventually want to pull it over here. Activate jump block that gives us the POW. Once we have the POW, we can take it forward and back up. Manipulating the scroll position once again to take out that block over there. Having taken out the hard block, we can once again reset our way through the doors in order to grab the bomb. Nope. I wanted to throw it in such a way that it demolishes that hard block that we just saw. Yeah, some really neat trickery going on with manipulating the custom scroll to go up or down depending on your spawning position. So we'll take that shell now and we'll take it back up. And that's going to give us what we need to climb up here. Now, we had gotten a pretty good look at the structure of this level in our earlier stream in terms of thinking about how we are now dumped into the subworld, which will give us the subworld checkpoint in a room that is going to be identical to what we see later. So let's just traverse this structure once again. The blasters are placed on a seesaw. The left seesaw dispenses a spring, and the right blaster, rather, dispenses a POW. So let's just raise them one by one for the purpose of obtaining the POW, which will then allow us to get past the thwomp on the left. Okay. Here's the POW. Here's the thwomp. We don't want to take out the thwomp yet because we want the left side of that screen to be on screen when we do, so we're able to enter the pipe on the left side without bumping into the screen boundary. Okay, there we go. Now that activates the on-off. Which, as we can tell from the activation of the checkpoint flag, dispenses us back into the version of this room that is past checkpoint in the subworld. There is, however, going to be some manipulation of the custom scroll. that is dependent on the on-off state. The trick behind this I haven't been able to completely reverse engineer just yet, in terms of how the on-off state is ultimately controlling it. But it is a very neat trick. So, we'll just grab the POW. That'll allow us to grab the trampoline from the other side as well. And having grabbed the trampoline, we... oh, whoops. I have to load this first. And once we reobtain the trampoline, we will head back up. So the way we have been doing this solution is by dropping the trampoline kind of on the edge here. Not quite that far on the edge. To kind of leave it halfway. And from that point on, dropping the POW such that we can recache it up top. Set that down gently. Take that up. And that allows us to take the trampoline over to the left side. Okay, so far so good with the on-off state still set to off. And here we are with a checkpoint. That should be back in the main world if my understanding of the layout is correct. I believe it is. Yeah. Main world where we have, once again, access to the custom scroll. That's going to move our scrolling position over by 1 block. That will then allow us to come through this door. Having unlocked the ability to come through that door, we next take the bomb and blow up the other hard block up top. The mechanism behind this I don't quite understand yet in terms of how to reverse engineer it, but what's going to happen is that we come back through here, and this time with everything open, custom scroll is going to take us down. We have the bomb wandering around on the right side. Since we're certainly in no danger of clearing the speed record anytime soon, which I think is around 2 minutes, I'm going to once again show off the cake path, where we had previously left a comment. So here's the cake room. I do wonder who else may have marked their territory. And yep. Reasonable amount of hype for the cake. Now this is going to drop us into... Oh, you know what? We completely misunderstood this earlier. I thought it was actually some kind of doubled room, but it's actually a repeated checkpoint. We are once again back in the subworld, so I misunderstood the way that this room was laid out and the way that the progress throughout this part of the level was being reset the last time I was here. So now we have a better look at it, because it's only now that I noticed that the checkpoints were swapped. Lotico Cafe, how many time do I have it? I just started the stream and I have this level and I have one more level, and then depending on how long I've been running, I will probably open the queue after that. But I just started this stream, so I think it's likely that I'll be on for definitely some time. Okay, we're going to run out of time fairly quickly here, I think, if I don't make it through soon. Okay, this changes our understanding of everything that's been going on quite a bit. now that we understand how the custom scroll has once again been unlocked. Now it's been unlocked by a number of things. First of all, the on-off state, and secondly... Yeah, this is kind of interesting. Yeah, we do know that the solution to this involves, first of all, spawning the POW on the other side, such that it's going to give us access to the mole, which is currently sitting on top of the muncher. We are going to run out of time on this attempt, and that's okay. This means we have time to take a look once again at the checkpoint. Okay, no, we did this incorrectly. I need to lower this, but I need to lower this while we are on the other side or able to drop an object here, because... Yeah, you drop an object here, probably the trampoline, and get back up on the other side, such that we can lower the trampoline for the mole. So, let's see when we spawn from checkpoint how this affected. Yeah, just have to redo this part of the puzzle. And, yeah, everything about this solution is fairly straightforward. Okay, back through here. Oh, I think I actually kind of understand how that scroll break working now. When it comes to the custom scroll tech here, there's a lot that we can probably play with the editor. In the editor, rather, in order to see how this is unlocked. So, here's the going theory that I have. That, you see how we busted that hard block over there? That is because there must be a continuous scroll stop that is running all the way across the screen, left to right, in order to block the ceiling. That blocks the custom scrolling path if that point in the custom scroll is kind of running upwards towards the ceiling and trying to go beyond that point. This is my theory. And the fact that we have broken that one tile is what allows the custom scroll to proceed from that point, because it was actually blocked by a scroll stop that was on the horizontal rather than the vertical axis. At this point, I'm pretty sure that is actually how this functions. So, having seen the cake room already, we'll just come on here and continue. Yeah, that is, I think, absolutely how it works. Yeah, which means that some other vital thing seems to have been broken in order for the custom scroll to come down to this point. And I think I know what it is. If you think about it, we are now back in, yeah, the same subworld as what we had earlier when we broke that hard block. Breaking that hard block meant that we cleared a scroll stop that was along the horizontal axis somewhere. And that particular scroll stop, wherever it was placed, is what allows the camera to come down this level. Yeah, because the camera was previously running into some form of horizontal scroll stop. I think there must have been two different blaster setups here somehow. At different heights, perhaps. Because I'm sure that there will be... okay, no, maybe not, because the mole eventually is what's going to give us the key, so... No, I think that's... So why don't we grab the POW? Grabbing the POW is going to release the muncher, but we don't want to do that just yet. What I want to do instead is lower this. Lower this, can we? Yeah. Such that we're going to open up a path for the mole to run right to left. The POW should be able to outweigh trampoline. I'll demonstrate in just a moment. It will outweight a trampoline, particularly when we step on it. And that is what will release the mole to the left side. Oh no, there's going to be a problem here, because when the mole is in the center, we need to be standing to the left of the mole on this upper layer here in order to continue moving it to the left side. So that will not be the answer. What will be the answer instead is that we take the POW over here, we release the mole, and then we use the trampoline to get up. Yeah, upstairs. I'm gonna run across the P-switch. Nope, that's gonna be incorrect. I wanted to... yeah, release this. Okay. Oh, let's redo this. Let's redo this. Got that a little bit wrong. But yeah, that's been the limit of our progression through this level so far. The last thing that we did in the previous attempt, in the previous stream where we were playing with this, yeah, it was to get the mole across, so... spawn that once again, and think about the logic of how we are going to transport the mole. Yeah, the trampoline method over on the left side isn't going to work simply because the trampoline is exerting too much weight. What we can do, however, is... perhaps spend a POW first, grab a second POW, and yeah, this will take a little bit of thought, because like what happens is we need to lower this, and we need to raise the other side. Hey Terminator, welcome. The queue will probably be open in a little bit, and then we can take a look at our level. I am finishing this one because we did not manage to finish the 4YMM stream earlier today, so it's just this level and one more, and then the queue will open. The bot is not currently running. It will be running later, I hope, depending on how long it takes for us to solve this. Okay, so, yeah, hopefully you manage to stick around, and we'll get the queue then. I have not opened it right now simply because I can't guarantee at this point how many I'm going to finish. And I don't want to keep people waiting if that's not the case. Okay, so let's say we release the mole. It's going to run over to the P-switch, and then we can do something, perhaps, to weigh everything down. Hang on. Suppose... yeah, suppose we had the POW here, such that we have the opportunity to run the trampoline over to the right side, as we've been doing previously. Okay. We don't want to drop the trampoline here yet. Let me just do a bit of a weight test. Okay. Yeah, because, okay, no, this is how it's going to work. That we can get up here once the mole has been released and taken to the center. This is going to be fairly time sensitive though, because of the P switch that is to the left of the... I have to figure out a quick method. Merlin, is going well. We just restarted the stream a couple minutes ago. We're just finishing this level and the last 4YMM level after this one. And afterwards, if I have time, I may reopen the queue. Currently, we're just doing this as a continuation of what we were running a couple hours ago. Need to figure out the method to get the mole across, and it should not take too long to do. We just need to execute everything up to that point fairly swiftly. Yeah, but I think I've finally figured out how the custom scroll tech actually works. In that both the horizontal and the vertical axis are scroll locked in such a way that prevents the custom scroll from progressing. Hey, Rammers. Yeah, I was kind of wondering what you did with it. Just out of curiosity. So. Also because, you know, First Clear was available and I thought I'd grab it. If First Clear was not available, I think I would probably have saved it for some future revision, on the assumption that you are somehow still not finished. So yeah, thank you for dropping by. We've been running the 4YMM project levels on stream. I managed to get through 6 out of 8 on the previous one, including all of the optional objectives. We are just now finishing the last 2, and we'll see what to do with the stream after that. So this was the bonus cake route to the right. We carried the bomb through, but we have seen that already a couple times. Okay, well, glad you're satisfied with that. Yeah, sometimes it takes a couple of revisions to really get into the state you want. I actually played that for, as you said, the 5th time without noting the comment in your level now about everything being designed around max and min jumps. And so you can imagine how that might have unnecessarily complicated things. Now, let's see if there was perhaps some way to toggle the on-off once again, although it's remained off for quite some time now because we don't have access to the on-off switch that was on that side. I almost wonder if we were able to kind of hot potato our way through and carry the bomb all the way here, but I think the zigzag was designed in such a way to preclude us from doing that when entering the room that's just before the cake room. So, see what we can do here. Yeah, the idea is that in some kind of sequence, our objective will be to activate the POW, have the mole run over, then make our way back over to the right side. And... oh, okay, no, I think if my reading of the weight is correct, I have it weight. Yeah, and then, you know, have the mole open the gate on this side. And the way to do that would be to have some object on the right side, like the trampoline, that we can remove. Nope, that's a mistake. That's a mistake. Okay. And of course, these platforms are designed in such a way that I cannot take a held item back through here. Okay, so let's get that trampoline out once again. Here's how we're going to do it. Weigh that down. Carry the trampoline across. I have a bit of an item swap here. Use the trampoline as a weight that will be later removable. Drop all this. And then, yeah, when we jump, we should be able to make it through. Here's the issue. I need to be able to make it back up here when the mole runs over the P-switch. One possible way of doing that is... I know. We don't need this here at all. We want this off to the side. What's going to happen is... yeah, we'll be firing the POW and grabbing a second POW. And yeah, we actually do not want a trampoline here. I think. Except once the Muncher has been released, we do need some kind of gate. It is going to be a bit of a weight balancing puzzle. And just trying to think about how this is going to work. Because the POW is going to be here. Alright, let's revisit this. We are going to probably run out of time on this attempt once again. I think it certainly feels imperative that we have... Oh, no, I'm overcomplicating this, as usual. I'm way overcomplicating this, actually. We want to stand with the POW on the left side. That much is clear. We want the trampoline on the right side. That much is also clear. We don't actually need to... Let's see. Yeah. We don't actually need to be above the P block, as I had supposed. What I'm going to do is lower the trampoline here. Yeah, that's going to open up the other gate, but the thing is, when we are on this side with the POW block, I am going to outweigh it. And if I release the POW, then my weight relative to trampoline will be equal, but I think the mole should have enough time to run through. No, it won't. No, it won't. Okay. Yeah, quite possibly. Yeah, I think I actually do need a trampoline on this side, but then I would need a POW on the other side in order to weigh things down. Have a sort of 2-to-1 weight between, well, the POW and the P block. I'm not actually sure it's going to be out. Hang on. I'm okay at puzzle levels. Well, I mean, I've been playing a fair bit of them on stream, so I'm usually comfortable with them because I understand enough about, you know, the kind of mechanics that tend to be in play, but sometimes they teach me something new. It is something that is going to be sort of weight dependent here, though. I sort of need a more precise idea of how the POW versus Mario versus trampoline weight is going to go in terms of balancing. For example, balance that here, balance that here. Is that actually going to... Whoops. Yeah, that's not going to be enough to weigh down the right side. It's going to take a couple attempts to get that right. I think it's almost certainly something obvious about the weight sequence that I am just missing. So yeah, let's just redo the scroll segment here. Gonna blow up, we come back. Now let's patiently wait for the custom scroll to do its job. Yep. Oh, and it's going to come back up. I didn't realize I was going that slowly. And thank you for the raid, Icky Brady. Glad to have you here. I don't know why my notifications don't seem to be working. Yeah, welcome. Always glad to have a raid of any size. I hope your stream went well. I'll give you a little bit of a shout out. That's assuming that I actually read that correctly as an I rather than an L. I'm not sure that's actually correct, but I couldn't tell if it was an I or an L at the start of your name. I may have blown that completely. It's an I, okay, I guessed correctly. Good to know. Yeah, I hope your stream went well. I don't know if you were playing Mario Maker as well or anything else, but I do appreciate you coming by. Yeah, I currently have half of this interaction figured out. I know that the detonation of the PAL block is going to release the mole. I know that lowering the left blaster is going to get the mole through to the middle to activate the P-switch. I know that afterwards I would need to lower this side of the blaster, but also stand on the left side up here, beside the pipe. Actually, no. Why do I need to be on top? I don't need to be on top of this gate. I just need to ultimately have an outcome that allows me to kind of change the way that the gates are weighted. Trying to find all the cakes? Yeah. I have found all of the cakes in the 6... Actually, no, I found 7 of the cakes so far because I did find the one in this one as well, and we had completed the 6 previous levels in sequence. So I just have this and a music level left, and it will be finished. Yeah, this is as far as I've gotten because I know how the solution is supposed to look. The missing piece right now is just to understand the weight plate sequence. And you think you know, that's fine. I will probably figure it out. Oh, you missed the cake and blowy Joey level. The blowy Joey level is, yeah, it requires you to survive without the use of the checkpoints. You can't respawn from the checkpoints or you aren't able to get it, and that's the only hint I'll give you. But it's a pretty obvious hint, like I don't know if you saw what it is already and just didn't execute it. But yeah, Mr. Lesser, I'm sure it's more fun for you to watch me be a little bit stuck. But yeah, I detonate the POW, Mole moves over, Mole hits the P-switch. I need to change the weight such that the right side is weighed down. And I need to do it in such a way that, of course, I'm on the P-switch timer, and then I need to get up to the left side in order for the mole to run through. The issue that I'm running into right now is that the... You know what? Okay, no. I'm almost certainly overthinking this. I'm overthinking this. Let's go back. I think I have it. I'm definitely overcomplicating it. Okay, so let's spawn POW. Yeah. So here's how it is going to work. I need to weigh down the left side with myself. I need... wait, let's get a trampoline. Shoot, let's reset this. Okay, no, I think I know the sequence. Just need to execute it without making mistakes along the way. let's release both items first. Let's get the POW, and let's get the trampoline. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to stand on the left side. This is going to be tricky because I want to be either above here or on the other side when the mole is released and when it comes through the center. And so the idea is this. If this is weighed down, unfortunately I can't balance it by enough in order to get the mole over to the left side. Oh, and thank you so much for the sub. Yeah, my notifications are completely broken for some reason. I have to look into that, I think. I would usually have a very spectacular boom come through, and doesn't appear to be the case. So let me see what's going on, because I think the notification service, Streamlabs, might just be completely down. I'll just see if I can fix that. Yeah, it just hasn't been showing up for some reason. It was the same with the raid that you gave me earlier. Yeah. But anyway, thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate it very much, and we'll also give you the queuing priority when it comes to viewer levels, such time as we open the queue, so appreciate your support. I'm too bad you didn't have the satisfaction of the big sploosh. Or a kaboom. Okay, you heard the kaboom and you didn't see the graphic. Okay. That's sort of interesting. Because my alerts should be on. Yeah, for some reason it just failed to activate. Okay, you saw the notification. Good, good, good. Oh, whoops. Don't want to accidentally restart this. So yeah, thank you very much for the support. Okay, so activating the POW. Oh, you know what? Activating the POW gives me access to a second POW. It's giving me an access to a second POW allows me to lower this gate here. Doesn't allow me to lower it by enough though, because here's the issue, is that this is trapped. When this is open, I'm still on the right side, and Mole is not able to traverse. So the other thing I can do, perhaps, is lower this, get rid of this guy here. Yeah, this might not work after all. Because the mole's going to hit the P-switch and then... Yeah, no worries, Merlin. If you need to go, you need to go. Yeah, because here's what's going to happen, is that the mole's going to come through and then I don't have a way to get over here before the P-switch activates. Because if the switch... Yeah, if I let up on the seesaw, then that comes down quickly enough, the blaster on the right comes down quickly enough that it crushes the mole before I'm able to get up to the top. Unless there is some way that I can just do a soft drop from up here. That would actually be able to drop weight accordingly. Now, here's something that can happen, is I can always... no, there's a semi-solid above this. Yeah, I'll see you next time as well. Okay, so let's just kind of do a quick run through this since we're running out of time anyway to see what I have in mind. Release that mole runs through. The issue is that the mole, if I'm standing on the right side, is not going to be able to get through because it's going to be running towards me all the time. Like, I need to finish that solution on the left side of the center column, such that the mole is still running towards me. So glad other people think the same way you did. Yeah, I guess maybe we're falling into the same trap here, in that I'm just retracing everything that you might have done wrong. But, you know, that's part of the process of puzzle solving. And I am really looking forward, in a way, to finishing this so that I can see how other people approach certain obstacles. Yeah, because I've certainly been missing some of the earlier and bigger 4YMM streams simply because I didn't want to spoil levels like this one for myself. I'm going to assume that since the bomb is expendable on the cake entrance, it's not really good for anything else. Can't really run around this fast enough to beat the detonation going into the pipe. So yeah, we'll just head back and see what's going on. Yeah, platforming levels doesn't make too much of a difference, but when it comes to things like the secret hunting or puzzles like this one, it makes much more of a difference. Yeah, it's not going to be something that involves the pipe because we can't take items back with us like we had done previously. The thing that has changed from our prior interactions is that we have access to this thing on the right side, which allows us to carry everything forward like this, allows us also to take out the thwomp, although I don't see why I would want that. Because I think the thwomp's relevance here is probably ended. So yeah, release the mole. Ah. Notice that little incline that is kind of to the right side in terms of potentially being able to trap the mole. No, it's not really going to go down that way, I think. Yeah, this needs to be fully up in order for it to get past a one-way panel. I mean, I am going to need to release the trampoline regardless. And then what? Release the trampoline. Yeah, I need to think about this sequence here. Break the POW. Yeah, because the issue that I'm running into is that the trampoline weight is equivalent to the POW weight. At least once they settle into an equilibrium. I mean, I think it's fairly clear to me that I do need to... Yeah, I need some kind of outcome that weighs down the right side while allowing me to stay here on the left somehow in order for the mole to run through this column. Now, here's an interesting thing. I've been thinking about this wrong in one respect. I've been thinking about getting above the P block so I can manipulate objects on the right side. It's clearly not going to be the case because in order for the mole to get far enough to reach the key, I actually do need to run to the left side. So I should be staying over on the left side in order for the mole to run far enough. So the question is, if I activate the POW, the issue is that I instantly release enough weight that the mole gets crushed when the trampoline on the right side comes down. Now, it's entirely possible that something else might be going on with this. Like, yeah, the issue is that I don't actually want that trampoline to be here when I release this, but then I need to figure out some way to weight down the right side here. Because I'll show you what the interaction is like. The Gamole's going to get crushed if I do this. Or it's just not going to make it through at all. Actually, it's fine that it doesn't make it through at all, because then I don't need to worry about the sensitivity of the POW timing when it comes to when it's going to be released. So, for example, I can release this gate here, refresh the POW, and not think too hard about whether I'm going to get stuck on the other side. Yeah, because if I'm correct, then what I can do is get a trampoline over this side. That's not what I wanted to do. That's not what I wanted to do. I actually just wanted to weigh this down myself, I think. Okay, no, that's wrong. However, yeah, we get the mole trapped in here. The mole and the Muncher are both going to respawn if I come back through that pipe, though. Now, you're saying that I have the right train of thought. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely need to somehow come back here and take a look at this again. I will need to repeat this sequence that's coming up to this point. And, okay, so let's see what's going to happen here. Once again, we have about 50 seconds remaining. It may be perhaps that using this platform prematurely is causing some problems, although I don't see a way to get through to the other side without it. But, yes, I do, because... yeah, we're not thinking about that platform. That's the missing step. If I... no, that's not the missing step, because I can't come back here with the held item. Never mind. Never mind. You got your partner to play this level, and as a non-Mario player, instantly got it. That's very interesting. That's very, very interesting. Because the POW is going to release all... it could be... yeah, sometimes I do think that, you know, in the instances when I do get stuck in a puzzle solution, it is because I'm trapped in some kind of convention or some very familiar way of thinking that does not, in this instance, actually apply. The puzzle meta, yeah, that's very true. That's a good way of putting it. Well, I mean, not even the meta in the sense of, you know, paying attention to what other people are doing and what the general body of knowledge is, but just from the habits that I've conditioned myself to. You know, just from playing other puzzles myself and thinking about how things like the object and seesaw interactions are very often set up. So yeah, I guess it's a meta in the sense of, you know, a meta that's defined by the body of puzzle levels that you're playing and the common patterns that you see exploited. Hey, Safety and Man. Welcome back. It's been a while. Hope you're doing well. We are finishing off the remainder of the 4YMM, 4 Years of Mario Maker levels that we are doing with all bonus objectives. And currently just kind of a bit log-jammed on this particular weight plate puzzle. Yeah, because so far we have this situation where the mole comes to the center and I need to raise this gate on the left side. However, raising the gate on the left side doesn't particularly matter if... You know what? Why don't... No, I need 2 POWs. I want 1 POW to release the mole, and then I want another POW that is used as a weight. I think that's going to be the simple answer here. Yeah, we can leave the mole trapped. I don't see why I was thinking in terms of releasing the POW on the left side. We don't need to do that at all. What I should do is release the trampoline. And... yeah, the mole is already free, and so what I'm going to do is... oh, whoops. No, hang on. Let me get the trampoline over to the right side. I think I have it. I think I have it. It's simpler than I was thinking. I was not thinking about just using the first POW and, you know, using the second one as the puzzle element instead. Because I was thinking too hard about the POW at the point of activation, in terms of what happens to the weight when I release it. If the mantra is already dead, I don't need to do any of that. If the mantra is already dead, I can just weight us down. Let up. There we go. Simple. Simple, simple, simple. We got it. And, okay, I just saw your hint. Treat a seesaw as you would a real-life seesaw. That's probably not how I would treat a real-life seesaw. I don't often go out into the park with a massive POW block in my hand. But, I'm sure that advice makes sense anyway. Okay. And that's gonna be it. Thank you for the huzzah. The queue is not open yet. Terminator, I have 1 more level, and then I will open the queue probably at the end of that one, depending on how long it takes. The next one is going to be the easiest level in the batch, so I'm not too concerned about it. But we will be doing the optional objective of the cake hunt, and that might make it take a little longer, so... we now proceed to the 8th and final level of this week's Batch 1, 4YMM. It's going to be Magic Koopa's Apprentice by Nura, who is a maker from Japan. Short description is: welcome to the 4YMM Anniversary Concert, conductor Kamek, player Booze. Now, there is actually a long version of this description that is on the 4YMM website, where you can find all of these level codes. Could have just left the POW on the original side to save jumping over multiple times. I don't know if I could have. Oh yes, no, I definitely could have. Now that I think about it. Yeah, because using the first POW for the detonation and recovering the second POW was kind of the insight that allowed me to clear that just now. But of course I also haven't been optimizing that for speed, hence the massive 45-minute time on the thing, as you can see. So I'm going to read you the lengthy description that's from the website. And it says, "Hello everyone, and welcome to the 4YMM Anniversary Concert by Kamek's Orchestra. Today's program is The Sorcerer's Apprentice by Dugas, conducted by Master Kamek, played by Booze, and jumped by the apprentice Mario. Don't worry if Mario has difficulty in seeing his feet during the music, Booze will guide him properly. Now that we're ready, the concert can start." So of course this will be a tribute to The Sorcerer's Apprentice, a composition from the 1890s that is best known from the Disney film Fantasia. And it looks like Mario is really going to be true to the comparisons that are often made between him and that other mascot, Mickey Mouse. We'll just see how it goes. 13% should be a very gentle clear. I'm going to turn up my music locally so I can really enjoy this. Okay. Bum, bum, boom, 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 boom. Okay. Concerts. That's going to be a little bit of a cutscene that gives you a mushroom. And then it's going to take us through. I kind of want to see this screen one more time to see what happens if I try to reactivate it. Yeah, it just says concert. As before, no change. Boom, 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 boom. And then, unfortunately, I can't really sing along because I'm told that microphone tends to be a little bit out of sync. Oh, whoops. Can't jump on that guy. Totally misread that and did see the spiny hat that was on top of the Magic Koopa. Yeah, very gentle music platforming level so far. I'm gonna have to listen to this afterwards with better audio than what I'm currently hearing on my local setup. Love how you have the fireworks going off in sets of 4, true to the 4YMM project. Whoops. Notice that we do have 5 pink coins. I saw that we were about to approach a coin, and that will probably be our way to the secret route. Or the secret room. Concert. Okay. Alright, there we go. Now I do kind of love that it has that sort of bugle elements to the original composition where you see when the melodies, the melodic fragments kind of repeated in round and permuted over the various instruments that are available. It's just a lovely composition to begin with by Paul Dukas. And yeah, kind of nice to see it back in this format, although we'll need to pay closer attention to the boos as we get through the actual platforming. You said this was your favorite of this week's levels? Okay. Interesting. I don't know if I have a specific favorite. Also, there was one level, so in Pipeline Pumpworks, it seemed like I found the secret 4YMM text room, but that the only cake appeared to be the cake that was over the flag, and I was wondering, okay, did I just miss some kind of secret cake room as well? And I just assumed that I didn't, that I actually did manage to find the secret that mattered. And if that's wrong, I will have to go back to that level and find a cake room properly, but I'm pretty sure the only cake that I saw was at the end. So, not absolutely sure about that, though. I might have to compare notes with other players for precisely that reason. You assume that was the only cake as well. Hey Brogan, welcome back. Yeah, I think mechanically speaking, Nabooza's level is the one that's going to stand as the most influential from this set in the long run, for sure. I think that mechanism is going to be very widely copied. And from what Nabooza was telling me, that was something they've been keeping secret for months, basically, and that the different versions of that look left, look right mechanism had been in development, like, even as far back as the 1.0 patch. And I can see why they held it, and I'm kind of impressed that nobody has really done anything similar that worked that well in the meantime. I have to say I really enjoyed Buffalin's level. I mean, you know, Buffalin's levels, like, a lot of them kind of feel the same when it comes to the intensity of the platforming. Oh, there's a coin down there, we missed it. Okay, that's fine, we'll get the clear first and we'll come back and do a coin mop-up. Yeah, even though I did a very embarrassing thing in Buffalin's level, for those of you who were not here to watch the other stream, where I just completely chased the wrong idea for the cake route for about half an hour before I realized that I could just do the obvious thing. Yeah, I really enjoyed Buffalin's cake. I just sort of misunderstood it for an embarrassingly long time. In terms of whether I needed some kind of power-up going into the secret platforming segment, I basically had too many attempts where I just didn't think about dropping the Thwomp, which is the obvious thing to do with it. Okay, got a 10 coin here. Let's keep an eye out for pink coins. Okay, there's one already. I feel like there was a stretch down there. So that's going to be 1 coin. We'll just keep track of where we are in terms of coin progression. And watch as the level lights up. There's a 2nd coin here that's under the Boo Ring. There we go, 2 coins. Yeah, this one's very fancy. Okay, so it looks like we're going to have a brief interruption for an on-off state to activate. Oh, and look at all these boos. Okay, oh, lovely little effect as the blue. Sorry, as the Boo Rings scatter. And I'm going to have 1-up. That's going to be the end of the scrolling segment, so not much more for us to do here. Yeah, Naboo's is just very good and also very helpful in general when it comes to just a great knowledge of mechanisms and also how to make those mechanisms feel better and snappier. That's the thing that really impresses me about a lot of his levels. Here's the 4YMM text. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, missed a coin. There we go. That's 3 coins. Taking a few too many hits here. There's another coin up ahead. We'll just need to drop out that platform, and I knew that was going to be trouble, but at least we did not lose the coins or anything like that. We probably have seen all the coins, with the last one as a safety at this point. That's what I'm assuming. Look at that Master Sword up there. I wonder what that's doing. Well, I guess the Master Swords are just lighting elements with a 1-tile radius. Okay. Let's be careful. I've been very sloppy about this part recently. Oh, nope. Missed that. Yeah, got a high coin here. Got a coin that is coin number 4 past the blue platform drop that we died on earlier. And after that, a safety coin should probably be it for the path that we're going for. Yeah, it's been far too long since I've seen Fantasia, but it is, I think, one of the real, genuine masterworks of the Disney portfolio. But yeah, also the first film to be presented with stereophonic sound was really a major technical achievement in that respect. But of course it was, in many respects, kind of a feature-length elaboration of what Disney was already known for in short animation up to that point with the Silly Symphonies series. And yeah, it's kind of funny because, you know, it's interesting to look back at the sort of culture of 1940s Hollywood and recall just what a revolutionary feature Fantasia actually was in ways that did not really take off. You know, in terms of like trying to present a feature-length concert on film and to think about storytelling and visualization and programmatic music. Like, there's so much going on in it artistically that, like, if it weren't Disney and if Disney weren't quite as commercial an entity, you could really imagine that film, you know, being in, like, retrospectives of the most experimental art films of the era. Because, formally speaking, that's kind of what Fantasia is. It's an extremely experimental film. And yeah, I think its impact in order to teach a lot of children classical music and kind of introduce them to, say, Bach or Elgar for the first time is something that can't be understated. And that's something Fantasia 2000 actually did very well as well, I think. I know that it's you know, perhaps not as important a film historically, but that a lot of the segments were very notable. The other thing that we often forget when we are modern viewers, I want to get the coin. When we are modern viewers going back to Fantasia, is that some of the classical music of that time was actually extremely recent. That, you know, you would be seeing something like Stravinsky's Firebird in it, and if I recall that correctly, with the Firebird being part of the original Fantasia. I might be off on that matter, but well, yeah, that basically you would have, you know, compositions that were really not that old by composers who were still kind of in their prime or alive and felt very contemporary, but also felt like they kind of belonged right next door to composers who have been around forever, like Bach. I love how the instruments are gradually getting layered as we get further into the level, in terms of how the orchestration is just becoming busier and more elaborate in keeping with the development of the piece itself. Yeah, you can see, too, that you have just tons of these track spawning positions to get music rolling. You can see the music track kind of scrolling both on the top and the bottom in the inaccessible parts of the level. Always so impressed with people who make these. Yeah. You have to wonder, you know, what Nintendo is going to be like someday when the original generation of Nintendo designers is kind of all gone. Like, I think they've done a very good job of passing the torch so far, and that, you know, people like Miyamoto and Tezuka have been very good about kind of stepping back and training a new generation to take on greater and greater responsibilities with the mainline games. But you kind of have to wonder how long that sort of purity of the corporate culture can last before companies just sort of sometimes undergo a period of decline where they're kind of, you know, riding on their existing properties. And which is what I think Disney felt like for a very long time. And still feels like today. Like, I do have significant problems with how modern Disney is run as a business and what they do with their IP. And I say that as someone who really deeply admires a lot of the classic films, and actually probably admired Disney more as an adult artistically than I did as a child. Yeah, I'm a little bit behind on chat because I've been doing the platforming here, but I do see Terminator, some of what you've been saying about the films. See, Terminator, I know it occurs to me that you definitely follow animation in some capacity, because you were, of course, the person who told me about Bird Person. Okay, let's go over that coin once again. Let's try to do it safely this time. Yeah, there are spikes on the lowest level. That's why I was taking damage, but also able to recover. Okay, so we have access to this. Oh, look at that! It's Mickey Mouse. That's the secret. Like, it's a hidden Mickey. So I'm gonna make a little comment here. Looks like you slipped me Mickey. Please don't ban me, Nintendo. Yeah, too bad it doesn't preserve the screenshots at the time of commenting the way that Miiverse used to do. But let's go down here. It's probably going to give us the cake. Yep, 4YMM, and here's the cake room. Yeah, I love that Mickey Mouse touch. That is just a very lovingly built element in this level. The Mega Mushroom, of course, is going to get us through. I also really kind of like this element with Magic Koopa here. Interesting that the Magic Koopa transformation of the mushrooms is consistently turning into coins rather into other elements. I think that's almost certainly some kind of entity trick, in that the coin limit has not been reached, but the enemy limit may have been, in such a way that the Magic Koopa is prevented from spawning anything else. I believe that's the way it works, although I know some things with Magic Koopa RNG may have changed just in relation to the way that RNG in general has been altered. But the only way I think that you can make the Magic Koopas spawn objects as coins that consistently depends on the entity limit, I'm sure. So, yeah, I love Miyazaki films. It's kind of nice to see them more widely available again. Because I know they've finally been making their way back to streaming services with subtitles. As far as I know. Oh, okay, that just says... And yeah, we have a lovely little Sorcerer's Hat at the end, and that's going to be the big finish to Magic Koopa's Apprentice, as well as week 1 of 4YMM. So